this next one, this is actually returning the tables on you. You have a visual learning exercise.
Oh no.
I'm gonna ask you. So just hit play on this and watch that, and I'll ask you about that. So I would like you to watch what's on this screen first, and then I will ask you about it once it's done.
No.
So you can just hit play.
I have never taken a class really before on physics, and the ability that I now have is really incredible because my professors have really supported me in this, and I put a lot of work into studying, but I've really grown exponentially, and it's probably the most challenging class I've taken, but that also makes it the most rewarding.
The most exciting part about the course was the first day of classes, in which we received like so many demonstrations of so many physical principles, and it was so exciting like to see them and like start thinking on how we can apply physics into those problems into a real life. It's super useful like to see them in the rubric and see before each quiz having an idea of what the learning objectives are. And it's also easier when they're grading it because they see what we actually know and they match it with a learning objective and they say, okay, this is what you have learned so far.
One time in class, he was going over this I think it was the Altman pulley problem, where he's like, this is the one problem that gets a lot of unqualified med applicants barred from going to med school. And I was like, now I know how to solve that problem. I felt like it was a big part of this course where you just got to listen to someone else, bounce off ideas and see where both of you guys are at. And even though sometimes you might be right, you might be wrong, but the act of like thinking out loud is what really enforces learning.
I felt like it was very valuable because like I'd be doing stuff by myself and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, or like I got the wrong answer and I was like, I don't know. And then I walked into small groups and people could be like, oh no, look at it this way, and like they have a different perspective than me or like anyone else, and they can help me understand it more from the student perspective.
We definitely do disagree a lot, especially when we're learning new topics. We sometimes just completely mix up ideas, but I think that's really helpful because it helps me see other people's perspectives, because most of the time, like, I'm not right, so hearing from them is really nice, and I think even when I'm right and I'm explaining it, it helps me learn better by teaching others.
She does a really good job at like fostering like the relationships between students and with herself, and I feel like it's a really good thing. I'm really happy that she is my teacher. I'm actually taking her next semester too, so that's gonna be nice.
She brings so much life to the class, truly. There's so much energy when you walk into the room from the point you leave, and it really got me excited from the first day. Again, coming into it without much experience, I was incredibly nervous, but she provides such an incredible support system and wants you to know all the opportunities that we have to come in, even to her or just other professors, and there's just so much life in her class. It makes it really enjoyable.
He's very passionate about his work as a physics instructor, and then he always makes sure to go into extreme detail, writing out every step so no one's lost as he's doing the problem.
If Dr. Landon was in front of me, I'll first tell him thank you. Thank you for making the class so engaging. Thank you for always coming with the smiles. Thank you for always coming and trying to teach us the best way possible. And continue being yourself, continue going all around the class, asking questions, continue doing demonstrations, continue being yourself and being the best professor that I've had so far.
That's very nice.
That is not a story you have to know your audience before telling that story about the Atwood machine. And, you know, I wouldn't tell it in a room of pre-meds, but, you know, with engineers, I felt it was pretty safe.
It's nice.